The week has started off busy for the Denver Broncos, and the front office now needs to make some important decisions. Coach Sean Payton seems very confident, and with that he tries not to get distracted by what's going on behind the scenes, because the game against the Browns is coming up, and we need to win this matchup. If you believe the Broncos will beat the Browns, hit the like button. If possible, comment like this: "Go Broncos! Let's make it to the Super Bowl." It seems crazy to make it to the Super Bowl, right? But don't lose hope. Anything can happen, and seriously, I believe in it, man. Now get ready, as the team faces crucial decisions that could impact their depth chart and strategy for the remainder of the season. With the calendar inching closer to Week 13, the pressure is mounting for Denver to finalize their roster adjustments as deadlines approach. Let's break down exactly what's happening and what it means for the Broncos' future. First, let's talk about Delaren Turner-Yell. Unfortunately, the safety will not be returning this season. The Broncos allowed the deadline to pass for Turner-Yell, ACL, to be activated from the physically unable to perform (PUP) list, which means he's officially out for the rest of the year. This is a tough blow for the team's secondary, which has dealt with its share of injuries and inconsistencies. Turner-Yell's absence will now stretch beyond just physical loss on the field. His leadership and potential to contribute to special teams will also be missed. This decision closes a chapter for this season, and the Broncos must now focus on maximizing the personnel they have available. That brings us to the next pressing decision. Drew Sanders, the rookie linebacker, who has been sidelined with an Achilles injury, faces a pivotal deadline this Wednesday, November 27th. If Denver doesn't activate Sanders by then, he'll also be shut down for the rest of the season. The potential loss of Sanders is significant, considering his athletic upside and versatility. He showed flashes earlier in the season of being a promising piece in the linebacker rotation, and losing him would create a ripple effect for the defensive depth chart. The coaching staff must weigh the risk of bringing him back too soon versus shelving a young talent who could be valuable in crunch time if healthy. Meanwhile, on the offensive side, wide receiver Josh Reynolds remains a wild card. Dealing with a finger injury, Reynolds has another week, until December 4th, to return from injured reserve. His potential comeback could provide a much-needed boost to Denver's receiving core, which has had its ups and downs this season. The Broncos could certainly use Reynolds' size and ability to stretch the field, especially as they aim to keep their offense dynamic in the later stages of the season. Running back Tyler Batty's status is also worth monitoring. Recovering from a back injury, Batty is eligible to return to practice but has yet to take that step. His presence could add depth to the backfield, though it remains unclear whether Denver's coaching staff sees him as a priority for activation. With the ground game being a critical component of the Broncos' offensive identity, any additional support at running back could be a game changer. In addition to these decisions, Denver's reserve list for season-ending injuries already includes linebacker Alex Singleton, ACL, and offensive lineman Quinn Bailey, ankle. Both are officially out for the remainder of the year, leaving the Broncos with fewer options in key areas. Singleton, in particular, was a cornerstone of the defense, and his absence has been felt throughout the season. The team's linebacker group is also in flux with Quan Alexander. The veteran linebacker, currently on the practice squad, seems poised to make the jump to the 53-man roster in the near future. With Alexander's experience and knack for making plays, this could be a timely reinforcement for the Broncos, especially if Drew Sanders cannot return. However, promoting Alexander will require another roster move to free up space, adding yet another layer to the decisions Denver must navigate. All these moving pieces highlight the complexity of Denver's roster management as they prepare for the stretch run of the season. Balancing the health of players, the need for reinforcements, and the realities of the salary cap and roster limits is no small task. But one thing is clear, these decisions will shape not only how the Broncos finish this season, but also the foundation they build for the future. So, Broncos fans, what do you think? Should Denver prioritize activating Drew Sanders or play it safe with his Achilles injury? How much impact could a returning Josh Reynolds or Tyler Batty have on the offense? And who should make way if Quan Alexander gets the call-up? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for updates as we continue to follow this developing story. The Denver Broncos are riding high after a commanding 29-19 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday, a win that kept them firmly in control of the 7th and final playoff spot in the AFC. As the playoff race heats up, Denver's postseason hopes are alive and well, even though the path ahead remains filled with challenges. With a 7-5 record, the Broncos are holding steady in a competitive wild card race. While overtaking the Kansas City Chiefs, who boast a 10-1 record, seems out of reach, Denver's focus is squarely on securing one of the 3 available wild card berths. Their position has them fending off several teams still in the hunt, including a resurgent Miami Dolphins squad that now sits at 5-6 after an impressive Week 12 victory. Although Miami does not appear on Denver's schedule this season, their late push makes them one of the most significant threats to the Broncos' postseason aspirations. What sets Denver apart in this playoff race is their control over their destiny in key upcoming games. Later this season, they will face the Indianapolis Colts in Week 15 and the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 17, 2 teams currently chasing Denver in the standings. These matchups could prove decisive in determining the Broncos' playoff fate. For now, though, Denver's attention turns to their immediate challenge, a Monday Night Football showdown at home against the Cleveland Browns in Week 13. A win here would further cement their playoff positioning and give them momentum heading into their Week 14 bye. The Broncos' postseason prospects have been buoyed by optimistic projections from multiple sources. The Athletic estimates Denver's chances of making the playoffs at 64%, while ESPN offers a nearly identical 63%. DVOA metrics provide even more encouragement, giving the team a 73.7% chance of securing a playoff berth. These numbers are not just reflective of Denver's current record, but also their favorable position in a crowded field of playoff hopefuls. However, as these probabilities highlight, there is little room for error. Every remaining game carries weight, and even the smallest slip-up could jeopardize their standing. This latest win against the Raiders showcased many of the qualities that have defined Denver's season thus far: a balanced offensive attack, a defense capable of making big plays in crucial moments, and an ability to step up in must-win games. Yet the road ahead will test all facets of this team. After their bout with Cleveland and the bye week, the Broncos will have 4 games to solidify their postseason credentials, including potentially high-stakes showdowns with Indianapolis and Cincinnati. With Miami breathing down their necks and other contenders like the Colts and Bengals still within striking distance, Denver has no room to let up. The broader playoff picture highlights the stakes for Denver as they prepare for the final stretch of the season. Currently, the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Los Angeles Chargers, and Houston Texans all sit above or just around Denver in the standings. While the Broncos have matched Houston's record at 7-5, a tiebreaker could ultimately determine who secures a better seed. Meanwhile, Denver must remain vigilant against teams like Miami, who, despite their 5-6 record, are riding a wave of momentum that could make them dangerous down the stretch. What makes this season particularly intriguing for the Broncos is how well they've performed in key moments. Their resilience has earned them respect across the league and kept them in the playoff conversation despite setbacks earlier in the year. Now, with only a handful of games remaining, the pressure is on to maintain that level of performance. As fans look ahead, there's an undeniable sense of excitement and anticipation surrounding this team. Can they capitalize on their current position and return to the postseason? With games against playoff rivals looming and every snap taking on added importance, the Broncos are in for a thrilling finish to the season. Broncos fans, the playoff race is here, and your team is right in the middle of it. What are your predictions for these critical upcoming games? Do you see Denver holding onto their spot, or could they rise even higher in the standings? Share your thoughts and hopes for the rest of the season in the comments below, and get ready for what promises to be an electrifying final stretch of Broncos football.